Welcome, everybody. My name is Dr. Corey Wren. I am a sociologist, a feminist, and a witch, and I veganize all three of those. I am coming to you today from a very hot and sunny July day in Canterbury, England, and it is unbearable. And I have made myself a lovely. I just made it. The ice is already melted. This is not a delicious pint of Guinness, but in fact, a cherry turmeric sparkling water cherry tomb cherryade. How about that? I could do a whole different video on turmeric, but not today. It's just really nice in the cold, nice and cold in this hot weather. So today I'm actually also talking about a seasonal delight. I had the great pleasure a couple of days ago to go back to Sevenoaks. It seems like everything is over near Sevenoaks, but I got on the train and another train and walked for almost 2 miles, pushing the dog buggy because that's too much for Mishka's little feet, to a place called Castle Farm. And it is how do you describe it? It's a farm that does different seasonal plants. So in the summertime, the early summertime, they do lavender, and then in the late summer they do hops and sunflowers, and I think then they do pumpkins and all that. If it wasn't so far away, I'd go back. But I've been dying to go to the lavender fields because as an American, and I grew up on the East Coast of the United States in Appalachia, and we've got lots and lots of plants and flora, but we do not, as far as I know, have lavender fields. It's such a English countryside type of thing, isn't it? So yeah, I traveled from a very long way. I was gone for over 8 hours, and half of that was just navigating the trains. And at one point I was on a bus with the dog buggy. If it weren't so far away, I'd go more often. But once I got to the end of this journey, I was greeted with the most amazing sight: vast fields upon fields of beautiful lavender. And the first thing I wanted to do, of course, was to go and frolic in it. So there's different things you can do. You can pay to do a picnic there. You have to reserve that. And they have a whole separate field just for people picnicking. You can do a guided tour. And then they have a field just for people who want to wander around in it, which is all I really wanted to do, because that was also dog friendly. And the picnic, I think you're not allowed to have your dog, even though a field is a field, but whatever. But Mishka just wasn't having it. And I think it was because the lavender was as tall as she was, and she couldn't really see an end to the end of the field. And to be fair, it was a very big field. And so she wandered around in it for about 10 minutes, and then she was over it. So I paid £7 for her to be annoyed in 10 minutes. But also I was on my own, and it's just like, once you see it, it's like, okay, now what do I do? It's too hot to just sit here. So we went back over to the shaded area of the farm, and they have a really cool gift shop in there. So I loaded up on Christmas presents, and, lavender is like my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So I was very, very delighted. I got a bottle of lavender lemonade made with Scottish Highlands water. It's like, I feel really living the high life now. But what I also bought was a big old bunch, and this isn't even all of it. I've been parceling it off for other stuff. Big old bunch of lavender. This isn't exactly lavender. It's a variant of lavender that's more useful for keeping in your house to keep moths away. I've never had an issue in my entire life with moths, but apparently some people do. And I always keep my windows open because I live in England and there's no air conditioning. And if the windows aren't open, I will die. And I would definitely die recording this video because I had to turn the fans off in order to be heard. But also I can smell. Oh gosh, it's just to hold this in your hands. It's just a great delight and joy. And it was only £5. And like I said, I've already used part of it for other stuff, but I'm going to be hanging it up in the rafters as I was instructed to do, to let it dry for a few months, and then you can display it. And then already the little petals have started falling off in great copious amounts all over the house. But I was instructed to collect those, and then you can bag them up, put them in a mesh bag or something, and put them in your drawers to keep your clothes nice smelling, but also to keep insects at bay. I don't have an insect issue, and also I don't really care about insects. They can go where they want to go, but I do like smell, so I will be exploring the smell situation when this starts to disintegrate. So I'm talking about lavender today because it is one of those core magical flowers that is in quite a lot of witchcraft and herbalism. And obviously it's the smell, right? The smell is very unique, and it is known to have a relaxing effect. So it's very popular in aromatherapy. In fact, if you're new to aromatherapy and you want to get started on essential oils, I have like over 100 essential oils. It's like my secret addiction. Like I really have to be stopped. I'm running out of room to keep them all. But I always, always, always have on hand an extra large, good quality jar of lavender essential oil. And if you want to get started in that, I say lavender is the way to go. And it is very important that you don't pinch pennies or cut corners with a good lavender essential oil, because it is such a popular smell. It's been, it can be mimicked artificially, and it just isn't the same. And so if you get something cheap, you're paying for something cheap. That said, like if you really want a high quality one, I couldn't even afford the essential oil that was on site at Castle Farm. They were asking between 22 and 30 pounds for a small jar of lavender essential oil. And in American dollars, we're talking like 40 to 50 bucks almost. Like that's just simply too much for me, especially because I use it a lot. But a nice birthday present, should anyone overhear. But I'm a big fan of Star Child, and I think Star Child offers quite a lot of nice lavender essential oils, including an English variant. So that is really good to have on hand. It's great, obviously, for relaxation, but also you can use it for other purposes. It's also, in some cases, you can take it internally, perhaps not the essential oil, but you can take lavender buds, leaves, flower petals, whatever you want to call these. You can take those internally. So those can be used in tea, but very sparingly because it's extremely strong. So even that would be too much for a cup of tea. I would just use 3 or 4 little pieces of that. And it blends well with chamomile. You can cook with it. I've made a cake once where I put the lavender in the icing. That's really nice. Perhaps the most frequent exposure I have to lavender in my daily life, however, is that I have created an eye bag pillow, and you can make that yourself. It's not very hard to do. I actually one year went wild and made quite a few of them for Christmas presents. But I use it every single night to go to sleep, and it's useful to like weigh down your eyes, relax your eyes. It can release a nice aromatherapy, but also in the morning when the sun comes up, because here in England in the summer, the sun is up at 4 in the morning, and I'm not always ready to rise at 4 a.m. So using that bag full of lavender and other heavy things like I've used rice, flax seeds, that helps to relax. In fact, in that eye mask, the original one that I made, I used lavender that was growing in my mom's backyard that I had planted there. And it's one of the few things I've planted in my mom's yard that actually grew and thrived. But it was actually quite sweet because I'll go to bed and I think, oh, this is what my mom's garden smells like. So something easy and practical that folks can make with that. Another use for lavender, and now I'm back to talking about the oil, is that historically that has been used as a painkiller, and it's got an astringent value to it. So you can add it to your salves if you're making salves or thinking about making a salve. You can add a bit of lavender essential oil to that. Lavender, lastly, here's the vegan bit. Lavender is an excellent thing to have around the house or garden, rather, if you want to attract bees and pollinators, butterflies. Sadly, I have one moderately successful lavender plant in my garden, in my little potted garden, and it attracts quite a lot of insects, but the cats have figured that out, and they now stalk the lavender plant waiting for butterflies to land, and every day I have to pick up a dead butterfly. So I've created a death trap, and it's really annoying. So today I tried to keep the door closed as much as I could, but it's just so hot. I had to open the door to let breeze come in and let the cats go in and out. So ideally, you would have lots and lots of these so that it's not just a sitting target for cats in the neighborhood. But and yeah, in an ideal situation, you could actually plant lots of these, and it's good for you, good for the insects, and just beautiful as well.